Hello and welcome to a Homebrew thing update. So finally made some progress today, today being the 12th of April. Got to a position where I'm finally got the video attract mode working inside my code. So previously I'd got to a position where I was working on my code and basically fleshing things out like modes and everything like that and getting multi-ball working, which by the way was an absolute horrible nightmare, but finally got the logic on that to work. Set up qualifying modes, set up a initial like mode within the qualifying mode, so to say, like, when you've hit certain conditions you can start a mode and go into an event, VUC, let's call it, to begin that mode. So all getting progress, making quite good headway now. Still got to set up a lot of stuff like scoring, player state, logic, handling, that is, and how it's going to deal with like things like multiple player states with different ball locks and how I'm going to handle those kind of elements. But let's get on to the nuts and bolts of what I've actually got done today. So the key thing that I've done is built out a media controller using a game engine called Godot. So for those that aren't aware, in Mission Pinball Framework, you can use the older inbuilt video player, if you will, or media controller, or you can opt to use the later development build, which is basically version 0.80 rather than 0.57. It's kind of like in like a public beta, if you will, or alpha, I don't know, but it's not generally available. You have to kind of request it, but basically that version's the one to work with, really, if I'm honest. If you're starting from scratch, you work with Mission Pinball Framework 0.8 rather than 5.7, because eventually they will release it and it'll be like a general release, and it will come with obviously the more advancements than the previous build ever did. The challenge I've always had is is getting the information on different syntax and different features. It's definitely been an absolute mind bender so far. But look, I'm rambling too much. Let's show you something that actually is worth looking at rather than just a screen with a blinking cursor on a DOS kind of prompt. So I'm going to execute my game code. I'm doing this via a remote desktop because it's easier to program when I'm sitting in front of a keyboard and mouse on a physical cabinet. For those that know what remote desktop is anyway, but basically, yeah, it allows me to effectively tunnel into my cabinet remotely, and then use my local desktop, my local PC to kind of manage it. It's just so much easier to code that way. Anyway, so you can see here it's sat there waiting for a local display. So this is going to be action from my media controller known as Godot. And there we are. Now obviously this isn't full screen here, but that's because the resolution I've set is 1920 by 1080, and this is a 2540 by 1440 screen, so like a widescreen monitor on a larger resolution basically. So this is my track mode that I built out myself. It's been a bit just faffing around. My wife is an artist and I'm relying on her to kind of draw the art at the moment, but to speed things up, and I'm using kind of like, how can I put it, AI imagery to kind of help speed things up a little bit, but the video editing has been done by myself. So that then obviously executes the attract mode, that will play through, and then obviously the game will eventually appear on that screen over there, which I've 3D printed a game display on it, but at the moment it's no speaker points, and there's no the inbuilt speakers on that screen are so small you wouldn't be able to hear anything, so it's easier to run it through the remote desktop session. So if I hit start, you can see there the ball launches into play, which is all good. I've got physical working flippers, and we've got working targets, working pops, working spinner, logic, switches. Everything's all been programmed. So I've got actually to a point where I have working coils, I have working switches, I have working game logic to a point. It can actually recognize what's going on in the game and actuate, different balls, and even I've got multi-ball working. So I've left a ball in there, which isn't going to help the game logic too much, but let's just see if I can abuse things a little bit. So just bear with. There we go. It will probably say unexpected ball in ball trough on the command logs, but I can ignore that for now. Hopefully this isn't going to mess too much with what I was trying to show you. So I just want to demonstrate the multi-ball code logic that I've built into the game. No, that's me taking the ball off and then it not realizing where the ball is. It just went into a ball loss mode. Anyway, if I activate this here, so I haven't gone through the third press. Now, what I will show you is normally the ball has no accessibility to the upper ramp here, and that's because it's actuated through the multi-ball lock. So once I've pressed that for the 4th time, you can see a diverter kicks in, and that allows the ball to go up the ramp. Now you're thinking maybe what happens then if the ball goes down the right ramp, or right orbit I should say. I've built in code logic there to release that ramp, or up the ramp I should say, temporarily, to allow the ball to pass, and it will do that multiple times as required to stop the game breaking ball flow. And obviously the ball will then, if I need to, go down there and look here, and that will then load another ball, which is all good. So I've got other logic built in, for instance, to handle drop targets. So if I complete the drop target here, it will automatically reload the what do you want to call it, the coil. It will activate and pulse the coil, which will then obviously reset the targets. I also have diverter logic built in, so if I hit this switch, which is the ramp entry switch, 5 times, I do need to add another switch up here. I just haven't got around to doing it, which will be kind of like my ramp made switch, which will be more useful. But if I press that 5 times, so 1, 2, 3, well, that's probably me pressing it multiple times there, but there we go. You can see it activated, so it strikes me more predictably. If I just press it here, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4. Okay, my bad. It's 4 switches. So sometimes I forget what I've programmed. But anyway, that's the point of what I was trying to demonstrate there. The ball path will change dependent on like how many times that ramp is made, just to keep things a little fresh. I'll probably do something more inventive later on, like, you know, like a random number generator that says if it hits a certain odd number, it activates the ramp, or something else. But it's just to demonstrate really that the coil works. And again, that's a custom made 3D printed diver that I made myself. It was just a hassle trying to get them. Back on the back box, I didn't mention this, but you can probably see from the side here, that was a Circus Voltaire cabinet. One of the challenges I've got by having a Circus Voltaire cabinet is that there are no points for mounting a display or speakers. So I will have to fabricate something, and that'll be a future me issue. Hopefully I'll get that sorted at one point or another. But there we are, basically. I just wanted to demonstrate that I have working game logic, that it can read events and that it can play events on the screen, or I'll bet not that screen, but on my screen behind me at the moment. But yeah, the point being is that it's a somewhat working game. Obviously, in an ideal world, I'd have this mounted into the cabinet, but I've got some alterations that I'm doing to the rear of the cabinet here that's going to allow for a support wood that my friend Ant is making for me and sending across to me shortly. I've working opto as well down here for a Newton ball, and again that's all been how can I put it, drilled and prepped by my friend Ant, who's a bit of a dab hand, let's say, at metal work, so you can probably just make out the hole there for the opto. This side here is 3D printed, just because until I get maybe a bit more metal, I can obviously get things bent into shape, so to speak, and to make that, or I might just keep it plastic, if I'm honest with you. The main thing is that the ball needed to go up on a metal side here, I think, which is going to be more robust, and this I can 3D print into ABS or something strong, basically, that will take a lot of abuse moving forward. I've also had Ant do me some drilling on some of these ball guides here. So originally these were using tabs, and he cut me some holes, which I've riveted and put in what they call spade bolts, which just allow for no obstruction up the side, so that the spinner obviously be pushed along there and no obstructions of hitting any tabs, breaking ball flow. Oops, excuse me, dropping balls. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As you see, you can get working slings, which apparently aren't going to work now because, you know, that's me pressing something. Maybe it thinks the game's ended. I don't think it has. All right, well, that's probably, I think it might be because I haven't been pressing switches for some time. That would make sense, to be fair. Anyway, before I give everybody an update just to where I'm at, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up and a like. It's always appreciated. And yeah, for those that haven't already deduced where this ramp is from, maybe leave a comment in the video and tell me where you think this ramp has come from. Obviously it's been modified somewhat, so you'll have to take a little bit of an educated guess. Okie dokes, until we meet again, signing off.